Perfect. Perfect. Welcome to Dirty Fanatics United.
Falcon fans, Falcon Nation, you are listening to Dirty Fanatics United, and no matter where you're watching this stream, hit that like button, leave a comment, because we are your Atlanta Falcon podcast. So it's your boys from Dirty Fanatics United. As always, I'm followed by my co-host, Mr. Robert, a.k.a. Mega Biff in the chat here. Cody, hashtag keep pounding them Panthers, Keeler here in the chat. Falcon fans, we are without Phillip tonight, man. We are without Phillip tonight. He is experiencing technical difficulties tonight. So just know we are blowed that Phillip's not here for episode 98 here of the podcast. But me, Cody, and Robert is here to cover your Atlanta Falcon Dirty Bird talking needs. Falcon fans, hit that like button. Mr. Robert, what's going on, man? It's been a week since we've talked Falcon football, coming off of 3 straight dubs. Robert, what's going on, man? How's life treating us?
Treating us good. 3 straight division wins and first place in the division, and got a tricky matchup against the Seahawks this weekend, but I expect us to win it.
Tricky matchup it is, as you speak on. You are going against the leading passing yards quarterback in the NFL, against the Geno Smith. 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. We're going to break down into it very soon. Mr. Cody, what's going on, man? Busy work week as always, but you're always here to talk some Falcon football, man. Cody, what's going on, brother?
Yes, sir. Man, we want to talk about a great couple of weeks for Falcon fans. Let's break this down a little bit. You're coming off the win against New Orleans. Then you come straight into a Thursday night against Tampa Bay and probably have the game of the year, or at least the best Thursday night football game that's been played all year, which we win on top of beating New Orleans. Then you go to Carolina and you kick the crap out of the Panthers like you're supposed to do, even though we kind of let them hang in. And then in the time of those 3 weeks, the Saints get their teeth kicked in twice, back-to-back weeks to absolutely getting their shit rocked. It is a great time to be a Falcon fan. And so, man, that has carried me throughout the week. Definitely looking forward to talking about the Seahawks, though. So that's what we're focused on.
The title of tonight's show, Battle of the Birds in the South. Hashtag ATL, hashtag Rise Up, episode 98, man. Hit that like button. Leave a comment so we can answer to you guys your questions about your Atlanta Falcons. Falcon fans, before we get into it, obviously I want to hit on the injury report that I've seen posted today, headed home. One big name on that injury list, guys, and I don't know, we didn't take it too serious last week because of what Raheem Morris said in the conference, but Justin Simmons still questionable for Sunday's game against the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, Troy Anderson coming back from that injury, still taking some time off. Nate Landman fills that spot pretty nicely, going up against a team that hasn't had that great of a run game. Landman must be, as I should say, spot on when it comes to pass coverage, because to me personally, that's Landman's one weak point if he had any weak point. But when it comes to the run game, Landman is that guy. Antonio Hamilton, I believe, is another injury that is out for Sunday's game. But only major name that's on that list that really stands out to me, Justin Simmons, your starting safety, the one that you just went and signed, done big things this year for the Atlanta Falcons, has played very stellar when it comes to that passing defense here in Atlanta. Robert, we'll start with you and then rotate to Cody. Hearing Justin Simmons' names on that list is questionable for Sunday. How does that affect this passing defense that we have such, great things to speak on when it comes to the passing defense? Maybe not so great when it comes to running, but you're ranking first damn near in passing coverage in the NFL. Justin Simmons missing Sunday, Robert, if that was to happen, who steps up and how is this going to affect the Atlanta Falcons Sunday?
Well, this could be Richie Grant's chance to really stand out, and maybe, turn some heads again. I mean, Justin come in and basically took his job, but, got to be next man up. And, of course, losing Justin, it's going to play a negative effect on us, but we just got to hang tough. Whoever fills that spot this Sunday, they're going to have to ball.
Absolutely. Cody, obviously after Raheem, the first week or last week after the game, Raheem Morris addressed the Atlanta Falcon fan base and the media and said that Justin Simmons, he felt pretty okay with what had happened when they pulled Justin Simmons out of the game, said that it was, a minor injury. As far as like some of the other players, Justin Simmons was a player he expected to probably be back this Sunday. Cody, hearing that and then hearing that he's still listed questionable, Cody, your thoughts on Justin Simmons hitting the injury list here before Sunday?
Yeah, I'm not too worried about him not playing. I was listening to 929 The Game this morning, and they talked about him being limited at practice today. What the good news is he was practicing. That's what you want to hear, especially when you're questionable. To hear you practicing, I mean, that's like I say, that's not 100% guarantee he plays on Sunday. But they felt comfortable with taking him out in the point in the game that they did. So he wasn't continuing to aggravate anything or do anything like that. So I expect to see Justin Simmons on the field on Sunday. I don't think they're going to hold him out. Now, if they do, for whatever reason they do, like to Robert's point, it's time for Richie Grant to step up and show that you can be that guy that gets, called up, in this
Cody,
situation.
in honor of Philip, I've got to do it. Richie! Continue,
There
Cody.
you go. But, I'm not too worried about it even if he sits out. Richie Grant, has showed us that he is capable of covering wide receivers in the NFL. He's got rest, obviously, since, Simmons is the starter now. So, and it gives him a chance, opportunity to go out there and show what he's got, again. Mm-hmm. So I'm not too worried about it either way.
Absolutely, man. Before we get too far into this Dirty Bird talk, man, because we can talk about it all night, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hit the chat here. Almno in the chat said, rise up, Almno. Hit that like button, brother. Glad to have you here for 4 straight weeks in a row, damn near. Shout out to Almno in the chat. EQRC in the chat said, hello, Falcon fans. EQ, another diehard. Another one that tunes in every single episode. Cassie Killer, rise up, guys. Love you, Cody. EQRC in the chat says, run the ball, sack the QB, and catch the INTs. That's your recipe to success, EQ. JP in the chat said, Rob introduced me to this page. Rise up. Well, we're glad Robert introduced you to the channel, man. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Glad to have you here in the chat. Wallace JP, Smith.
Back home.
JP the homie. Check him out, man. Wallace Smith said, what's good, fan? Wallace, what's going on, brother? Another diehard DFU supporter. Shout out to Wallace Smith. Falcon fans, Battle of the Birds in the South. The series is in the Seahawks' hands. They're 12-9 when it comes to all the complete stat of our record against the Seahawks. A close, nippy type of game there. It's almost like when the Seahawks come to town, it is a divisional opponent because there for a while, you beat the Seahawks in the playoffs numerous times. You had that one game where you were up 30 or you was up 20-0. They fight back, and then Matty Ice comes in, seals the deal with the game-winning drive, finishes the score 30-28. Your Atlanta Falcons take the dub. Falcon fans, there is hate when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks. So we'll start with Robert, bounce it to Cody. But Robert, what does this game hold for you, sir? The Atlanta Falcons could pull out a dub and intentionally, go 5-2 here for the first time in 6 to 7 years. Your Atlanta Falcons have not ranked a 5-2 record in quite a while. Robert, what does this game hold? It is an NFC matchup. You are undefeated in the NFC. You rank number 2 in the NFC. If the season ended today, you're the number 2 slot. Robert, how much weight does this game hold Sunday?
There's a lot of weight because we got that rematch with Tampa next weekend, and we need this W to keep pace and kind of keep the Buccaneers, kind of keep them under us.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely is a big matchup Sunday in the Benz. Glad it is home because the Atlanta Falcons are riding hot, whether it's home, away, coming in 3-0 off of divisional wins alone, sitting pretty nice at the top. Now that the Saints are 3 to 4 games behind, they're knocking on the basement door, Falcon fans. The Saints season is over. Calling it now. But Cody, you hear the words, you hear the rumors, you know what this game holds. Cody, let the Falcon fans know how much weight this Sunday game holds, and how can the Atlanta Falcons squeeze out a dub here and go 5-2 and still be undefeated in the NFC.
Yeah, man, there's no mistake about it. This is an important game. I don't like losses, period. But the two games that we lost are games that if we're going to take the losses, I'm okay with it being Kansas City and Pittsburgh being its AFC. Now, divisional games are always first, and we've taken care of business of that. Going 3-0 to start, it's huge. Now, this game is super important too, because let's say something, let's say for whatever reason Tampa Bay wins up winning the division. Now we're coming down to tiebreakers with the Seattle Seahawks. And so you definitely want that game, because that breaks your tie, especially if you wind up tied with the Seahawks record-wise or whatever that stuff. So you want this game because it may matter later on down the season. It's this is week 7. So, a week 7 game could determine not only where you're seated in the playoffs or if you get into the playoffs, period. So it's a hugely important game. And to your point, it feels like this is it's almost kind of a strange rivalry. As a matter of fact, Matt, when we were at the Matt Ryan Hall of Fame thing that they did there in the Buckhead Theater, he talked about that. He talked about it just seemed like it was a cross-country rivalry with the Seahawks because, our two teams were coming up at the same time. You had the LOB and you had the Rising Matt Ryan and, our team that, eventually would be built to go to the Super Bowl in 16. So it's a huge game. It's absolutely a huge game between the Falcons and Seahawks. So you gotta handle business at home anyways. You want to win your games at home. And I think we can do that. We're coming off 3 straight divisional wins, and you're riding momentum. And the good thing is that the Seahawks right now they seem to be kind of struggling here a little bit. They just lost their last game, if I'm not mistaken. And it wasn't good for them. They couldn't stop the run. They were able to get past them.
Cody. A
lot of sacks. Yes, sir. I would say so.
6
it's going to be
that is.
Yeah, and so the keys to the game, to win this one is feed Bijan and feed Tyler. Get that run game going. We have a run game have the game that we did against Carolina with Bijan and Tyler, and this one, I struggle with this game a little bit because it's one of those things. Is like the Seahawks aren't a world beater like they were with the LOB, but they're not bad either, because if you let them hang around, they'll catch you, and they can beat you. So you got to get Geno Smith on the ground, which the Seahawks are prone to letting you do, like you said, Chase. 6 sacks last game. Get your run game going, because they can't stop that either. They're actually pretty susceptible to the pass as well. I would say I don't think they fare too well in the passing game. Nope. And we've got the
I got a stat for you here, Cody, while you're on the pass defense. They gave up this season alone, the last 3 games, 8 touchdowns, a 74.1 completion rate with 74.1 completion rate at 138.5 rate. Week 5 against Purdy, 255 yards, 3 touchdowns. Not very good there for the Seattle's pass defense, as well as the run defense. They do have a good pressure rate when it comes to quarterback. So O-line must do their jobs, but continue on, Cody.
Yeah, no, and that's it. And I think that's going to be big for us. If I'm not mistaken, they were saying that the Seattle, I believe it was their run defense, ranks 27th in the NFL right now. And we're one of the, obviously one of the better running teams with our tandem. So get Geno Smith on the ground, which we have mightily struggled with getting the quarterback on the ground. Now, I'm not too worried about their pass attack. I know he's got big, gaudy numbers, but
Cody, you know what else is a really nice stat line? And I'm sorry, I'm reading this as you speak. A really nice stat line here, and this is a Kyle Pitts stat line. Their passing rate to tight ends this season is 117.8. They've allowed to receivers 6 touchdowns. Drake London has damn near 6 touchdowns this season. 100.5 rate. Pass defense for Seattle just is not it this season.
No, and I think that'll be big for us. I would say, obviously, to me it sounds like, again, I don't watch many Seattle Seahawks games. So to me is what it seems like is is the reason the numbers are so gaudy for Geno Smith. They can't stop the run. They're not good about stopping the pass. So they're in high scoring games where they've got to throw the football. Put them in that situation,
30th.
make them one dimensional, because our pass defense is much better than our pass rushing defense.
Yeah.
So if you can get them to where they've got to air it out and they have to play catch up with us, which you don't want to do against us, especially coming off the last 3 games. We scored 30, should have scored 45. Now I know one of those would have been a pick 6, but you just go outscore them, because if you make them one dimensional, we already know they're not good at running the ball. We know they're not good at stopping the run. Just protect
Cody,
Kirk.
You spoke on they were 20th something. They're actually ranked
30th.
30th.
Okay.
In the NFL with 5.2 yards per carry. Give Tyler Algier the rock, baby, because we're taking it to the house every run.
Yes,
747 yards this season in the NFL for their run defense.
Yes, sir.
So as my guy EQRC here in the chat says, Seattle has injured cornerbacks, a weak O-line, and D-line. They should be another Carolina game. Chat, before we get too far into the Seattle Seahawks game, you heard my guy Cody spitting the facts. I will give you my thoughts on the game Sunday. But before we do here, we got a question here from Mr. Omno in the chat. Said, so do we go for Max Crosby? The man said he's here. He's not here to rebuild. He wants to win. Falcon fans, Terry spoke on it. Arthur Blank spoke on it. Raheem Morris has spoke on it. The Atlanta Falcons are not in a rebuild. They're here to win. And to that point, Avno, I think that's something you must entertain. A Max Crosby alone could make this team a playoff team. I mean, I think we already are a playoff team, but when you add a guy of that caliber to a defense with already talent, it spreads across the board. And it doesn't have to be one player making the plays. When you have a player like that, it opens up double teams for other players. He's going to get 2 to 3 men blocking him at one time. Grady Jarrett's line up in the middle. Anamata, Zach Harrison. The question is, if you're still viewing, the question is, what do you trade for Max Crosby? Robert, we'll ask you the question. Cody, you as well. Max Crosby to Atlanta, is it something you entertain? If so, what could be on the trade table? Robert, we'll start with you.
It's definitely something to entertain, because I don't know exactly what kind of offer we could make. But I'm going to use an example here.
The rumor floating around right now, Robert, and this is just fans talking, people suggesting a trade. The Atlanta Falcons and the Raiders, from what they say is a good trade, is Michael Penix for Max Crosby and a draft pick. That's tough. That's tough, man. That's tough.
Penix is the future. Kirk, if we have Kirk
Absolutely.
for the full 4 years of his contract, then, great, but Penix is the future. I think that's too high of a price. But if by chance this is what Terry wants to do, I'll use an example. In 92, when the Cowboys made the deal for Charles Haley, that made them instant Super Bowl contenders, which they actually won the Super Bowl that year.
Look at the Aaron Darnold year when he traded, Super Bowl bound instantly. So, yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
I think the Max Crosby thing is something you entertain. What that package is, what that package looks like, I have no idea. Cody, your thoughts on the Max Crosby situation, even maybe a Hassan Reddick. Cody, your thoughts?
I'm not giving up Michael Penix Jr. I know Max Crosby's a hell of a football player. He is. That is not the first option that I'm giving them. I'll give you my number 1 draft pick, absolutely, because I'm one of those people that I care less about draft picks. I'd rather have proven NFL talent than draft picks. If you want my 1 and 2, if I think it's seriously
when you're ring chasing, Cody, that's what you do. If you're here to win now, you go sign a Max Crosby.
Yes, absolutely. I say you go do it at all costs. But if you can keep Michael Penix from being traded,
absolutely.
I would say he's learning too much from Kirk. And and here's our problem too, is who's the backup at that point? I would say because unfortunately, God forbid anything happened to Kirk and we traded Michael Penix. Well, guess what, guys? Here's the problem. Sure, you got Max Crosby on the defense, but Max Crosby's not throwing the football either. So now you've got this stellar defense, and now we're back to the Desmond Ridder, Marcus Mariota problem. And that's not going to win you football games. I don't care how good your defense is,
Exactly.
And so would I like to see him come here? Yes, but not at the cost of Michael Penix. Not at the cost of Michael Penix. I'll give you my first round. I'll give you my second round. I'll give you futures. I'll give you cash consideration, but I'm not giving you my future.
Here's a trade proposal from EQRC. So I've heard a 25 first round, 26 first round, and a second and 27.
I'm okay with
that. To me, I'm doing it.
Yep.
It's Max Crosby. I'll have to pull up Max Crosby's stats, but I'm sure he's well over 5 sacks, and the Atlanta Falcons have 5 sacks onto the season.
Oh, yeah.
Which ranks 30th in the league.
Yeah. And my thing is, too, is, you got Riddick, up there in New York. Like, if the Raiders, let's say the Raiders will not come off, you have to give us Michael Penix. We're not taking any picks. We want Penix, and then you can have Max Crosby. I know a lot of people are like, well, he's got baggage and all this stuff. Okay, but here's the thing about that. Sometimes you need that asshole on a football team, on any sports team. Sometimes you need that guy that is just a pain in the ass and is just, now I'm not saying cancer, like locker room cancer wise, but, just that guy that pushes people to, everybody plays better pissed off. Matt Ryan played better pissed off. Roddy White would purposely piss off Matt Ryan because he loved Matt. That's what that was something else that Matt Ryan said, is that he knew Roddy would purposely piss him off because Roddy's thing was Matt Ice is the best ice, because that means Matt Ryan was going to go out and play. So sometimes you need guys like that. Sometimes you just need that guy that's just an asshole to push other guys to really get there. So again, I'm willing to give the Raiders whatever picks they want. And if they want 1 and 2 next year, and they want that's fine, but I'm not giving up Penix. But I'm also not opposed to having Riddick come down here to Atlanta either. If again, because they're not looking for a quarterback. So,
yeah, 100%. Hassan Reddick is a nice pickup, even if it isn't a Max Crosby. I mean, you even got rumors going around about Myles Garrett potentially looking for a trade. I mean, players that want to get that Super Bowl ring before the end of their career, and that's a guy I think if a Myles Garrett, a Hassan Reddick, or a Max Crosby, I'm giving him my draft pick for that guy. I just am. That changes the game. I mean, you see it every year, guys. You see it every year if it's a defensive player, whether it's a receiver, but you see that team that is I should say, as the Falcons are playing 4-2 here on the lead. So you see a team that's on the rise, and you see that mid-trade season. And guess what? The past 2 or 3 years that that's happened, that team's been pretty deep in the postseason. So, I mean, you could go back to the OBJ with the Rams when Odell Beckham was picked up mid-season, hit stride with Matthew Stafford. They go and win the Super Bowl. So this happens every season. And I think if, Terry sees the right fit, sees the right numbers with the contract, maybe you could see a pickup before the trade deadline. I've even TikTokers, I know it's just TikTokers, but TikTokers have been saying, a lot of Hassan Reddick targeted to Atlanta. So maybe that's something you see here in the next coming weeks, Hassan Reddick to the Atlanta Falcons. Falcon fans, hit that like button. Leave a comment if you haven't already. Ask us whatever you want to ask, as long as it's Falcon related, man. Hit that comment section. And if you would like, we'll even drop the link for you to pop on tonight and do a little podcast here with us, a little special 5 minutes, 10 minutes to express your voice about the team this year. Falcon fans, Seattle coming to town. The Seattle Seahawks coming to Atlanta. Cody, Robert, a segment we have here on the show that we do every week, Recipe to Success. And we've kind of spoke on it about getting the ball to Tyler Algier, getting the ball to Bijan. But you have a quarterback that passed for over 500 yards just 2 weeks ago. Going up against a pass defense that is not so great. Linebackers playing pretty scarce. They do have 2 good receivers over in Seattle. You got, obviously, Tyler Lockett, been a solid vet throughout his whole career. Najigba, the receiver from Ohio State, and you also have a DK Metcalf. So our secondary as well must play a very, very solid game. Cody, Robert, how do you think, our cornerbacks match up against these big body receivers like DK Metcalf? Terrell has faced Metcalf before and kind of bodied Metcalf other than a couple of passes, but AJ Terrell looked very nice against his previous matchup with DK. But how do you feel these receivers match up with our cornerbacks?
I think our corners can handle them. I'm just like we talked about earlier. With Justin Simmons being out, I mean, yeah, that's going to be a harsh blow to us. But as far as matchups with the corners, I think AJ and I think that Mike, I think we can handle their receivers very well.
Absolutely, Cody, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think our corners will be okay. Now, unfortunately, I do have a disturbing fact for everybody. Now, DJ Metcalf, I believe, and I'm kind of shaky on the numbers. I looked it up or heard it earlier this morning. DJ Metcalf has been held to, I think we played against him 4 times. I think AJ's played against him 4 times. AJ has held him to 12 catches for only like 74 yards. But here's the problem: 6 touchdowns. You cannot let it. It's all come in red. It's all come in the red zone. AJ is going to have to shut him down. You cannot allow DJ Metcalf, or you cannot allow Metcalf to beat you like that. So I don't know what AJ's got to do this week to be ready for that, but he's got to be physical with DJ. DJ is a huge, huge wide receiver. He is a tough receiver. Now, the good news, I feel like there's kind of some animosity going on in Seattle right now between Geno Smith and DJ. So hopefully they're not on the same page this week coming in. You've got DJ on the side, yelling at Geno, just get me the ball. And he's, saying, I'm trying. So hopefully that plays in a little bit of a factor, but that was one thing I did not like to hear this morning was that, yeah, he's shut him down from 20 to 20, but anything 20 in, he's struggled and has given up 6 touchdowns. So you gotta stop that. You've got to, I don't, if you want to let him burn you from 20 to 20, as long as you keep him out of the end zone and keep him to field goals, fine. Bend, don't break. That's a huge football philosophy. Bend, don't break. Do not let DJ Metcalf beat you in that red zone area. Other than that, I really think, I think Simmons, if he plays, he'll be fine with, Lockett. I don't see anybody really struggling anywhere else. Don't let DJ Metcalf beat you in the red zone. Just don't do it, because if we can make him one-dimensional, that's what's going to happen. He's going to be throwing the ball a lot. So you've got to lock him down.
Yep. Wallace Smith in the chat says, but they don't have AJ traveling Metcalf. They may not have him traveling, but Cody just gave you the facts and the stats there. It's a very real thing when it comes to DK Metcalf and AJ Terrell giving up 6 touchdowns. How many matchups, Cody?
I think it's out of 4. And if you don't think Seattle knows that, AJ may not travel with them, but I guarantee you Seattle knows that, and they'll make sure that he matches up with AJ. That's something Seattle can control.
At the size of DK, you're definitely going to get shots. They're definitely going to take their shots when it comes to a big body like DJ. AJ Terrell, obviously, just got his contract here in Atlanta. Big AJ Terrell supporter, but play this season's been kind of iffy when it comes to certain plays and certain matchups. But at times, AJ Terrell shines. He sealed the deal with the interception, and obviously Clark Phillip freezes the game with his game-winning interception. But stats are the facts, and AJ Terrell must lock down DK in the red zone. And the best way for that to happen, Cody, Mr. Robert, is get the pass rush started. You're going up against a team that gave up 6 sacks last week against I think it was the 49ers they played last week. So they did go up against a nice D-line. I will give them that. But I think the Falcons have talent as well on the D-line. They've shown that they can get home. Lorenzo Carter, another one that's on the injury list. So you'll probably see a little more Zach Harrison, a little bit of AK. They showed more AK last week. So I'm excited to see what could happen, because I think Zach Harrison is going to be a dog out there on that edge when he gets his chance to sign. So Zach Harrison obviously coming up with some big plays this season already, but would love to see him get home. I would love to see easily 2 sacks Sunday. Give me 2 sacks Sunday in the dub, and we're happy, man. Clark Phillips, another one that's been getting some playing time because of D. Alford not playing up the par. We did speak on D. Alford last week. Everybody hopes for the Glow Man to, adjust. New scheme, new head coach, new defense coordinator. changes in Atlanta. So D. Alford maybe catching on a little slower than others, but Clark Phillips, another one making a big stand here when it comes to, when it's time to shine. Clark Phillips with the game-winning interception. Robert, Cody, your thoughts on Clark Phillips? Could he potentially start this Sunday over D. Alford?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I think he's earned the start, especially, the game clincher against Carolina. I mean, I wish he'd have run it in, but he's good sport.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Smart play
Clark
on his
Phillips.
though.
Cody, your thoughts, Clark Phillips, making his moment shine when his number's called.
Yeah, no, I think Clark Phillips can absolutely get the job done, man. It's like Mike Johnson said, man. He's just got that dog in him, and now I don't. This is my only thing. I know he's got that dog in him, but 5'9" against what DJ Metcalf 6'4". You don't want to see too much of that. You definitely would prefer to see a Jesse Bates. You definitely prefer to see an AJ Terrell that can go, kind of go toe to toe there with DJ. But as far as like him covering Lockett and the other Seattle wide receivers, no problem with that whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure, they're not going to expect Clark Phillips, maybe occasionally, because, obviously AJ's not going to travel with DJ like was stated earlier. But I think Clark Phillips, he's just got that dog in him, man. And I don't have a problem with him covering wide receiver 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
He can get the job done. He's absolutely showed that he
was
can.
A snag. He was a step behind last week from having 2 interceptions to the Carolina Panthers' number 1 receiver, Leggett. So Clark Phillips, man, I think he's going to do big things in the league. We've seen him what he did in college, led his division in most interceptions with, I think it was 7 to 8 his last season in college. So Clark Phillips showing a little bit of the past of what he did back in college. Would love to see him, take that next step. Clark Phillips, possibly the future here at slot cornerback, maybe cornerback 2 in the near future. So Clark Phillips, another guy to watch out for. EQRC said, "Hey man, did you see the speed on Phillips on that interception? He came out of nowhere. He is. I mean, it showed in his combine. He's really a good player as far as his height. He knows how to match up. He knows how to take advantage of, he has ups like Brent Grimes, guys. I mean, this guy goes up crazy. But I have a question for Mr. Wallace because we're speaking on the AJ and the side of the field. Mike Hughes, how do we feel about a Mike Hughes matchup with a guy like DK Metcalf? Robert, we'll pitch that to you and then go over to Robert with it, or Cody.
Well, Mike Hughes has been a pleasant surprise for us, and I think he could handle DK pretty well. I mean, it's just all going to depend on what kind of scheme that Jimmy Lake's got in store for us, and
as long as Jimmy Lake doesn't come with the same scheme that he came with in the first quarter last week.
That is true. Yeah, that was
good God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Goodness gracious. Maybe you need an AJ Terrell traveling the side of the field when you're getting burned like that. Emmanuel Karts in the chat said Drake London is going to cook the Seahawks secondary. I love it, Emmanuel. I love it. Bring me some more Draco, baby. We big fans of Mr. Drake here. Hit that like button, Emmanuel. Subscribe if you haven't already, man. Glad to have you here in the chat. Falcon fans, DFU was talking Falcon football. And obviously we will be live Sunday before the game. Cody obviously attending the game. I believe Phillip and Pops will be in Atlanta. Some things came up. We'll not be able to make it this Sunday. So hope to catch y'all at another game this season. It definitely will happen. But before we get out of here, we'll give our little score predictions for Sunday. So far, we are 4-2 because each week we pick the Atlanta Falcons to win. We'll never pick against them. Emmanuel in the chat here said Kirk Chains is doing his thing. Hey, that's why we rocking the chain, baby. Rocking the chain from Kirko. Gotta have the chain home. Robert, we'll start with you. Score prediction Sunday. Who comes out with the dub, and then rotate to Cody, and then I'll give mine before we give shout-outs.
I think we're going to dominate in time of possession. We're going to see heavy run, and I'm going to say we win this thing 27-16.
Let's go. Let's go. The Falcons are 5-2. Cody, score prediction for Sunday, man.
Yeah, I'll say I think we take this one 35-21.
Okay. Astounding dub, 2 back-to-back. You're coming off of 3 straight games of 30 points. I love it. I love it. I'm kind of going in the same direction, Cody. I got a straight slugfest in Atlanta Sunday. Kirk Cousins throws for 300 yards. Algier is at 75 on the ground. Bijan with 2 touchdowns. I think the Atlanta Falcons go 32 to the Seattle Seahawks 25. Tight game, but your Falcons pull the dub 5-2. Jeremy Allen with his score prediction said Falcons 34, Sea Chickens 24. Another 10-point lead. Love it, Jeremy Allen. Hit that like button, brother. Glad to have you here in the chat.
I'll say, speaking about Sea Chickens, I want to point something out to Seattle Seahawk fans, no matter how much you want to argue it. A Seahawk is not a real bird. That is a nickname for an Osprey. Your team is fake.
Falcon fans, you heard it here first from Cody. Wallace Smith with his score prediction said 31-24 ATL Falcons, man. Rise up, rise up. Falcon fans, it's been a great show, man. Episode 98, and I cannot thank you guys enough for supporting us along the way. We're at 441 subscribers on YouTube. If you could, man, share to a Falcon fan. If you haven't subscribed on the YouTube channel, head over to YouTube, DFU_ATL1. Dirty Fanatics United. You'll see us. Hit that button. Subscribe for free, man. Because before you know it, we're gonna be big time, all right? And you're gonna be paying to be subscribed. So you might as well go ahead and subscribe now for free. Falcon fans, hit that subscribe button, man. It greatly appreciate it, and it keeps the show going, man. So shout out to you guys. Robert, we'll start with you on shout outs, man, and then Cody, and then I'll close it up.
Shout out to my boy JP Hilbert that showed up in the chat tonight. Thanks for watching, brother. Greatly appreciate it. Shout out to you guys for, letting me be a part of this podcast. It means a lot. And shout out to all the Falcon fans. Let's go up and support the team this Sunday.
Absolutely. Get in your seats, man. Get in your seats Sunday.
Yes. And shout out to Brianna, Peyton, Zach, and Christy. Love y'all. Rise up.
Cody, my man, shout outs for tonight, brother. Glad to have both you and Robert here for this episode 98, brother. Cody, shout outs.
Yeah, shout out to everybody, continues to keeps logging in and keeps watching and sharing to other Falcon fans, man. I would say there's, like I say, it's great for us to sit here and talk Falcon football and have an audience that's willing to watch and listen, man. Gotta love it. Big shout out to Kirk Cousins taking on the personality of the city, man.
Walk in your trap, take over your trap.
Man, I love it. I'll say Kirk is something else, man. Kirk, I love Kirk. I got something for y'all for Kirk too. He said something perfect. I'll say, he said, even if people saw me walk on water, my haters would say I couldn't swim.
Yeah.
Let people hate on this team because why not us? Why not us? And that's
Phil's been screaming it all year, Cody, and
yes,
I told him
sir.
I'm gonna get him a T-shirt with the "Why Not Us" and the DFU
Yes,
logo on the front.
I love it.
That is the slogan, man.
Absolutely. But shout out to you guys for coming on and do this on a Friday night, man. This week flew by. But it's always good to wrap it up talking Falcon football with you guys. Everybody, say love it. Love talking Falcon football, man. Football is a hell of a drug. That's mine. I'll say football is a hell of a drug, guys. So I love this. But other than that, man, shout out to the wife who's watching. I could hear her through the wall again. So other than that, guys, get there. And the only other thing I can say is give the ball to Tyler.
Give the ball to Tyler, damn it. Give the ball to Tyler Algier. Shout out to Tyler Algier's uncle, Louis Algier. Have reached out to him on Twitter. He will be appearing here on DFU. Tyler Algier's uncle will make an appearance here on DFU, man. Hope for bigger things to come, but we are ecstatic to have Tyler Algier's uncle here on DFU, man. Can't wait to get the date scheduled with him. Todd McClure has already clarified we will still do the podcast. Have yet to get the date. But stay tuned, Falcon fans, because this is what we do it for, man. We do it for you guys, and we do it for the fan inside of us, man, because we love the Atlanta Falcons, and we love talking Falcon football, man. Hit that like button. Share to a Falcon friend or family member, man. We greatly appreciate y'all. Check us out on Twitter, DFU. We're on TikTok. You can catch us on Facebook groups, Dirty Fanatics United. We're at like 300 members on Facebook, so check us out. We'll greatly appreciate you. Just respect the rules as we respect you, man. Once again, shout out to everybody in the comment section. Y'all have been great Appreciate everybody that left the comment. EQ with the nice chat here. So I love you guys. If I sub, I love. Shout out to you, EQC, man. We appreciate you too, brother. It means a lot to have you here every show, every Friday, every Sunday. EQRC is in the chat, man. Shout out EQ. It's fans like this is why we do it, man, because without you guys, there is no podcast. As always, shout out to my man, the Lord and Savior, because without him, we would not be here today. Shout out to the wife, dealing with a sick toddler and a almost 2-month-old baby. So rough times over here at the Cravey household, man. So keep us in your prayers. Much love to everybody that reached out in the past, couple of weeks during the storm. It's really, truly a brotherhood when it comes to Atlanta Falcons. Brotherhood, sisterhood, whatever it may be. And through the Falcons alone, I have made tons of extended family. So I greatly appreciate everybody that's showed love and support to the channel, man. As always, it's your boys from Dirty Fanatics United. Falcons by 50 Sunday, baby. A-Town down, man. Rise up. We out of here.